Hello and good evening. You are watching Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime. It is a Tuesday. Thank you so much for making the time and for joining us. My name is Faith Nyaude. A quick look at stories making the headlines tonight. President Mnangagwa today led the nation in celebrating the 45th Zimbabwe Defence Forces Day at Rufaro Stadium, lauding the military for its steadfast role in defending the country's independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity. Stay tuned for highlights from the president's speech and, of course, the celebrations themselves. The Heroes and Defence Forces Day Gala is underway at Kujeke Growth Point in Wedza in Mashonaland East Province. An explosive lineup of artists is expected to serenade revelers. We have our man Victor Maposa on standby with an update on the gala. Now, talk of treats coming from weird yet wonderful sources. We talked to a food scientist who is making delicious ice cream from masao, a popular fruit here in Zimbabwe, otherwise known as the jujube fruit. And in sport, Casalaga Premier Soccer League action resumes after Chibuku Super Cup break. Now, on our main story this evening, President Emerson Mnangagwa today led the nation in celebrating the 45th Zimbabwe Defence Forces Day at Rufaro Stadium in Harare, extolling the military for its steadfast role in defending the country's independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity. The president saluted the founding members of the Zimbabwe Defence Forces and urged the current generation of officers to draw inspiration from the sacrifices of the liberation struggle. Ibn Mabunda was following proceedings for us from Rufaro Stadium and he filed this report.
Now thousands gathered here at Rufaro Stadium to celebrate the 45th Defence Forces Day, a celebration of fortitude and sacrifice by the country's military forces, elements that have framed the country's defence forces over the past near half a century. With Rufaro Stadium full of life and in full voice, President Mnangagwa took his place at the saluting days, leading the nation in honoring the courage and dedication of the defense forces. Flanked by the commander of the defense forces, the president inspected the parade with the troops standing at attention in precise formation, a display of military readiness and loyalty. The Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defence Forces leading from the front in honoring the nation's fortress. In his address, President Mnangagwa paid tribute to the military men and women who dedicated their lives to serving Zimbabwe unconditionally.
On this occasion, we salute and celebrate the Zimbabwe Defence Forces for their commendable work of safeguarding and protecting the independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of our great motherland, Zimbabwe.
President Mnangagwa commended the troops for their professionalism and urged them to remain steadfast in defending Zimbabwe. The president saluted men and women who have served in the Zimbabwe Defence Forces since its formation in 1980, following the integration of the Zimbabwe African National Liberation Army ZANLA and the Zimbabwe People's Revolutionary Army ZIPRA. He encouraged the current generation of officers to draw inspiration from the sacrifices of the liberation struggle.
As we look into the future, you, the officers, men and women who now constitute the Zimbabwe Defence Forces, must never forget that journey to independence.
The 45th anniversary was also a moment of reflection, honoring past sacrifices while reaffirming commitment to future security.
All of us have a role to play in building our motherland, Zimbabwe, including the defense forces and members of the security sector as a whole. It is exemplary that our defense forces
Minister of Defense Opam Chinguri Kashiri spoke of strategic reforms aimed at further strengthening the defense forces and enhancing public confidence.
On the diplomatic front, Your Excellency, we are continuing to strengthen cooperation with friendly countries in areas of mutual interest, while at the same time collaborating with various continental institutions in promoting international peace and security.
As the sun sets on Zimbabwe's 45th Defense Forces celebrations, the message is crystal clear. The military of Zimbabwe will remain a pillar of fortitude, unity, and national pride. From Rufaro Stadium in Zimbabwe's capital, Harare, Iben Mabunda, ZTN5.
Now, here are some highlights from the President's speech at the 45th anniversary of Zimbabwe Defense Forces Day. Now, still with the Defense Forces festivities, our correspondent Stajiswe Gwaza spoke to some Harare residents to get their sentiments on the role played by the Defense Forces in maintaining peace in the country.
From synchronized thunder of boots and a parade march to the lightning-fast agility of acrobatic displays and the raw power of simulated combat maneuvers, that is the summary of these memorable moments. And this is the protector doing what he knows best, showcasing skill, discipline, and teamwork, a true definition of the character.
The Zimbabwe Defense Forces does more than anchor the country's peace and security. They also partake in assistance of civil institutions. Among their humanitarian work, there is free medical outreach and building learning institutions. And as we celebrate this day, we interact with ordinary citizens to understand what they value most about this particular day.
For Hannah Tandi, a Harare resident, the Defense Forces Day is a day she also gets to celebrate her mother, who is a member of the forces.
Pazuvairi tinokoshesa zvinhu zvakawanda sekukoshesa vakarwira nyika inoi nekukoshesawo mama vangu because I'm soldier.
The Defense Forces celebration drew a diverse crowd, captivating post-millennials, some of whom seemed excited. The traditional dance in particular left an impression difficult to ignore.
This is our home, this is our culture, and this is everything to us. And I really like the traditional dance because it brought back the old Zimbabwe that everybody used to have and loved.
These young ones too seem not to be ignorant. They express gratitude to the country's defense forces for their role in maintaining peace in the country.
Zuva irika kwandiri ninika rinondirevera kusununguka mukati menyika yedu yeZimbabwe. Semunhu akamboenda kune dzimwewo nyika dzakasiyana siyana. Zuva redu iri rinotikoshera because masoja edu anotiratidza kuti takachengeteka. Tine rugare, tinofara, izvo zvomuri kungoona tiri kufara zvisingaiti.
Part of the role of defense forces is to defend the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and national interests of Zimbabwe, and to contribute to international peace and security. It's a big shift outside war scenarios, and the Zimbabwe Defense Forces seem to be adapting well to their newly defined roles.
The event was marked by a display of military parade, fly-past jets, and the parachute troopers descending from the skies into the awe of the cheering crowd. It was a day full of spectacle and salute as the country honored its brave hearts. For ZTM Prime, I am Satachisiwe Gwaza at Trufaro Stadium.
Now, the Defence Forces Day celebrations took place all over the country. In Bulawayo, scores gathered at the historic White City Stadium for a festival of drills and marching, acrobatics, song and dance, all in celebration of the country's defence forces. The large turnout served as a poignant display of patriotism and a collective desire to honour the sacrifices made by the men and women in the military. The Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Judith Ncube, who presided over the commemorations, awarded independence medals to 10 distinguished recipients, including 4 war veterans. Andile Chuma has the details.
The national flag swayed gracefully to the soft and warm August breeze, flaunting its full splash of color. Alongside, the Zimbabwe Defence Forces flag also swung in harmony, a symbol of Zimbabwe's pride. On the turf, members of the Defence Forces showcased some impressive drills as scores cheered on. The fete, a befitting honor to the country's military men and women. The Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Judith Ncube, presided over the commemorations. A total of 10 distinguished individuals, among them 4 war veterans, received independence medals. The awardees expressed gratitude for the recognition.
Rinotifungisa zvakawanda zvakaitika nguva asi tinotenda nokuti pakasvika panguva yekuti tipiwewo ruremekedzo rwunoonekwa kuti zvataita
Situmo Nkomo and Annie Ndlovu were honored as ex-political prisoners, detainees and restrictees, while Gertrude Ndlovu and Thaddeus Msasa received recognition as non-combatants. Tabitha Mguni and Isaac Dagamela were honored as war collaborators. Annie Ndlovu shared her prison experience, how she endured weeks and months of torture under horrific conditions, leading to a life-threatening surgery. For her, the medal serves as a reminder that all the pain and suffering were for a worthy cause. Thaddeus Msasa said discrimination and failure to secure a white-collar job even though he was qualified pushed him to join the struggle as a war collaborator. He is proud that his contributions were honored.
1957, I'm a greener pastures, Sakapa Saya Ezambi. From there, Saba is scored. So kunjalo kwaba ngokuthi khona babe andlula amaZambians white collar job inikwa kuphela amaZambians ama-foreigners bebengadluli so kwazisa ubuhlungu kakhulu sazobona abalweli bempi.
The event was attended by Zimbabweans from diverse backgrounds, including members of the opposition party. Bulawayo Deputy Mayor Councillor Edwin Ndlovu was in attendance alongside other opposition party leaders. Later in the day, football and netball matches were held, bringing the celebrations to a thrilling conclusion. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
Now over in Marondera, the Mashonaland East provincial capital, the celebration saw people from all walks of life, regardless of political or social standing, converging at the stadium to salute the outstanding work being done by the Zimbabwe Defence Forces towards national development.
Military yedu yakatirwira vanotichengetedza nekuunza runyararo muZimbabwe, havangomirire chete mukuunza runyararo kana kutichengetedza, makatarisa Defense Forces Day masoja edu mazuva ano vane madepartments akasiyana siyana vanoita maconstruction ezvikoro, maconstruction emaclinics vachipartner nemadevelopment house akawanda. Saka izuva ratinochereredza zvakanyanya tichivatenda even pakauya nyika yedu munoziva kuti iyo mauto aya ndo vaimhanya vachitirwira kumberi kuti tinge tiri patiri kunge takasununguka.
In Mashonaland West, commemorations took place in Chinhoyi, where the sound of the Zimbabwe National Army brass band filled the air, while drill displays on the parade square kept thousands of people on the edge of their seats. The ZNA mounted regiment horse displays and drills by the Inkomo primary and secondary schools did entertain the crowd.
Team Alpha.
Now, the anticipated Heroes Defence Forces Gala is already underway at Kujike Growth Point in Wedza. Our man Victor Maposa is on the ground with an update. Victor, good evening.
Yes. Good evening, Zimbabwe. Good evening, viewers. As you can see, the stage is already set. People are here. People from all walks of life, regardless of political affiliation, regardless of economic backgrounds, regardless of social standing, they are all gathered here at the Kujeke grounds, Wedza Center in Mashonaland East. What is happening today? What is happening tonight? Tonight, we are celebrating the gallant sons and daughters of Zimbabwe, the departed and the living heroes who sacrificed it all to ensure that there is peace, there is independence in Zimbabwe. Yesterday, as you know, the nation was celebrating our heroes, and today we are also celebrating the defense forces, the Zimbabwe defense forces, who are sacrificing it all, who are dedicated to ensure that there is peace in Zimbabwe. Now, tonight, everyone is here at the Kujeke grounds, Wedza Center. All the people are here, all the artists are here. We are going to see Baba Manyaruka performing. We are going to see Marking Bass performing. We are also going to see Jam Master performing. And this is going to be a night to remember. This is going to be a night of all the nights.
Well, Victor, thank you so much for that update from Kujeke Stadium. You already look like you're already in the festivities. You are watching Newsplus. We'll be back shortly after this.
The Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Advocate J.F.N. Mudenda, President of the Senate, Honorable M.M. Chinomona, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable T. Gezi, the Deputy President of the Senate, Lieutenant General Retired M.R. Nyambuya, members of the Committee on Standing Rules and Orders, members of Parliament, the Clerk of Parliament, Mr. K.M. Chokuda, and staff of Parliament join His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of our Defence Forces, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, and the nation at large in extolling the men and women of our avowed Zimbabwe Defence Forces, ZDF. On this momentous day, it is a time to pause and relish the ZDF's unshakable resolve, rugged tenacity and unwavering dedication to protecting the nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Their steadfast commitment has guaranteed the peace and security the nation enjoys today by safeguarding our hard-won freedom, democracy and independence. The ZDF Day and Heroes Day celebrations are inextricably linked, drawing inspiration from the bravery and sacrifices of the nation's liberation heroes and heroines. It is therefore important for all Zimbabweans to cherish this national responsibility of the Zimbabwe Defence Forces. The ZDF has over the years evolved remarkably into a professional, disciplined force attuned to the contemporary needs of Zimbabwe's defense ecosystem, particularly in today's complex security landscape. Additionally, their philanthropic commitment to community development is exemplified through initiatives like the annual Community Week during peace times. Effectively instructive and dovetailing with the benevolent work of the ZDF is the 2025 theme, Zimbabwe Defence Forces, guaranteeing peace and stability for the attainment of Vision 2030. This theme is epitomized by community-centered projects such as the completion of the girls' dormitory at No Emission in Macheke, an early childhood development classroom block at Gillingham Primary School, and a modern double-story classroom block at Warren Park 6 Primary School. Such philanthropy underlines the ZDF's dedication to leaving no one and no place behind, in tandem with His Excellency President Mnangagwa's national vision of inclusive growth and development. Happy ZDF Day, Zimbabwe. ZDF, a force par excellence. Makorokoto, Amhlope, long live defenders of our territorial integrity and sovereignty. Parliament of Zimbabwe, a strong, independent, people-driven, world-class parliament. A SARS ISO 9001 2015 certified organization. The Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Honorable Dr. Anxious Jongwe Masuka, Deputy Ministers, Honorable Davis Marapira and Honorable Vangelis Haritatos, Permanent Secretary Professor Obed Jiri, Chief Directors, Directors, Heads of Parastatals, entire Ministry and Parastatal staff joined the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, His Excellency Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, and the whole nation in commemorating the 2025 edition of Heroes and Defense Forces Days. As we commemorate these days, we pay tribute to the gallant sons and daughters of the soil who paid the supreme sacrifice for the liberation of Zimbabwe from the repressive yoke of colonialism. These courageous men and women fought for our freedom and shaped the history of our beloved motherland, Zimbabwe. Let us strive to emulate their spirit of gallantry and preserve their legacy to posterity. The ministry remains committed and focused to ensuring the attainment of Vision 2030, leaving no one and no place behind.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Now, how much have you heard about innovation? A 28-year-old local food scientist and technologist, Fanikola Chambwera, is making waves in the culinary market with his innovative baking and cooking crafted from organic ingredients, including finger millet and masao fruit. Our correspondent Lato Nyango had a chat with Chambwera and gave us this report.
Based in the community of Epworth, Fanikola Chambwera is delighting the taste buds with an array of delectable offerings. Ice creams with unique essence of masao, alongside cakes, cookies and samosas made from the nutritious goodness of finger millet. The driving force behind his culinary adventure is a noble mission to combat the health issues arising from over-reliance on processed foods. After completing his bachelor's degree in food science and technology, Chambwera is steadily carving his niche in the food market. He dreams of nourishing Africa with wholesome and innovative food products.
This is value addition of new and locally found indigenous food, which has its own health benefits. But also the value addition to make sure that there was good benefit enough, not just fitting into the culture. So you find out that most of the ice creams are on the market. They are high in sugars and fats and also synthetic additives. But with the one that I created here, it's just natural. You have your milk, your eggs, and the organic fruit itself. Since there are no pesticides and such kinds used in the production of the knee fruit, because it's indigenous, it grows on its own, it's just organic. Then also, so that's the 1 liter, and then there's a 500 milliliter as well for this. Then also we have masao. This one is the masao ice cream. So with this one also, the inspiration was the fruit itself, the masao itself.
Inspired by the concept of adding value to existing resources, Chambwera is on a quest to save lives through organic food that celebrates natural nutrition. He has a vision to blend traditional culinary practices with modern food processing techniques.
To come up with products that are nutritionally good, that are good for the health, that are good in terms of adding value to what we have as a country or as a continent, so that people can enjoy it, and also that other people can also take inspiration from it, that we can do it and we can add value to what we have.
Chambwera family believe that hailing from Epworth, where crime is cast a long shadow, will not deter him from realizing his aspirations.
Of course, I will not deny that there are issues, social issues that are there, but it doesn't necessarily mean there's nothing good that comes out of the society. There's always a certain percentage of people that are going to be doing well, and I'm not the only one. There are a lot of people that are there. So by doing this, I'm hoping that this can also be an inspiration and show others that it's not necessarily about where you're coming from.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. For Chambwera, his journey has just begun, filled with promise and potential. I am Latu Onyangu for ZTN Prime in Epworth.
Now let's move from talking about culinary innovations to talking about road safety. The Environmental Management Agency is running road awareness campaigns in Mashonaland Central Province, targeting long-distance travelers, bus operators and private motorists. More in this report.
The campaigns are aimed at curbing vehicle emissions, waste disposal, wildfires, which typically spike during the holiday. Some of the travelers expressed excitement over the initiative, indicating that drivers were adhering to the safety precautions. Travelers also pledged to promote environmental cleanliness. Environmental Management Agency officers conducted emission checks on buses and other vehicles, ensuring that their exhaust levels remained within the legal limits. Speaking during the campaign, the Provincial Environmental Education and Publicist Officer, Maxo Mupota, says that their goal is to boost highway safety.
We are here today in Mashonaland Central Province, where we are doing awareness roadblocks, checking on the vehicle emissions and also to do something to do with waste management. We are partnering with ZRP today as we are ahead of moving towards the holidays, where we are encouraging members of the public, those of commuter omnibuses, to make sure that they have bins in their vehicles and to ensure that members of the public, as they travel, they put litter in respectable bins.
The agency also urged travelers to desist from starting fires along the roadside, as it might lead to traffic accidents and harm.
The buses going to various destinations, let us not light vehicle fires.
Mupota says on occasions where violations were detected, motorists were advised on corrective measures to reduce air pollution. The agency distributed waste disposal bags to avoid littering and urged bus operators to install bins in their vehicles to encourage proper disposal of trash.
Let us ensure that the environment is safe from litter as we congregate towards these holidays. The heroes and defense forces ensure that we have anti-litter monitors within our crowds to ensure that we do not have litter in and around the environment.
As the nation celebrates its Heroes and Defense Forces holidays, the Environmental Management Agency Road Campaign is part of the initiatives to promote road safety, environmental protection and waste management.
You are watching Newsplus. We'll be back shortly after this.
The board, management and staff of Transmedia Corporation Private Limited proudly join His Excellency President Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa and the nation in commemorating Heroes Day and Defense Forces Day 2025. Today, we honor the brave men and women who have dedicated themselves to safeguarding Zimbabwe's sovereignty and ensuring our safety. At Transmedia, we support Zimbabwe's security and unity by providing reliable broadcasting infrastructure that keeps citizens informed and connected, leaving no one and no place behind. As our digitalization journey progresses, we remain committed to expanding access to information and fostering national pride through innovative solutions. We remember our fallen heroes whose sacrifice secures our future. To the living heroes and defense forces, we salute your unwavering courage and service. With the strength of our nation and the power of communication, we are building a brighter, united Zimbabwe. Let us stand together, honoring our heroes, past and present, and reaffirm our pledge to a peaceful, prosperous Zimbabwe. Transmedia remains committed to ensuring that every Zimbabwean has access to information through radio, television, and other digital platforms in support of the constitutional provision of universal access to information. Masai Kuvanu, Amakakasi Ebantuini. Long live Zimbabwe.
Got some questions about Showmax? Well, we've got the answers. What is Showmax? Showmax is not a TV channel. It's a streaming service with tons of hit series, movies, and more. Plus, Premier League live on mobile. Just pick what you want and hit play. No schedule or airing times. With Showmax, you watch what you want, when you want, and where you want. For any other queries, find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, or TikTok.
The Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable Kazembe Kazembe, Deputy Minister Honorable Chido Sanyatwe, Secretary for Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Ambassador R.T. Faranisi, senior management and staff joined the President, His Excellency, Comrade Dr. E. D. Mnangagwa, and the nation in celebrating Heroes Day and Defense Forces Day. As the nation gathers at the Sacred National Heroes Acre and in ceremonies across our great nation, we continue to cherish the heroic sacrifices of our heroes and heroines, both living and departed, whose selflessness resulted in the freedom, peace, and stability we continue to enjoy. This day is a powerful and solemn reminder of the immense sacrifices made by the gallant sons and daughters of Zimbabwe who laid down their lives for our freedom. As we reflect on the long and arduous journey from colonial oppression to a new Zimbabwe in 1980, let us all continue to uphold high moral standards and abstain from social evils such as drug and substance abuse. We also pay tribute to His Excellency, the President's wisdom and visionary leadership in sustaining national unity, peace, and development. As a ministry, we remain resolute as per our mandate of ensuring a secure and peaceful Zimbabwe, promoting and preserving our cultural heritage. As we celebrate Heroes and Defense Forces Day, we also take this opportunity to congratulate His Excellency, the President, Comrade Dr. E. D. Mnangagwa, for leading SADC with distinction during his chairmanship. Happy Heroes and Defense Forces Day, Zimbabwe.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Now we take a look at news from around the world. With at least 40 people having been killed in an attack on a camp for displaced people in Sudan's western Darfur region, according to an aid group that works there. The Abu Shouk Emergency Response Room said Monday's assault was carried out by the Rapid Support Forces. Now, the resistance committee in nearby El Fasher city, made up of local citizens and activists, also reported this. El Fasher, which came under intense attack as well, is the last major foothold in the Darfur for the army and its allies, which have been fighting the paramilitary RSF in the 2-year civil war. The conflict has triggered a humanitarian crisis, with the UN warning that families trapped in the besieged city face starvation. Over in DRC, the announcement of the new 53-member Suminwa II government was met with frustration and disappointment in South Kivu's capital, Bukavu, where many view the reshuffle as a missed opportunity for genuine national renewal amid ongoing peace talks with the M23 group in Doha and Washington. Residents and political analysts alike decry the return of familiar faces, fearing that the cabinet will do little to address the deep-rooted conflict and instability. Now, an opposition communicator, Albert Matabaro, denounced President Felix Tshisekedi's decision of reappointing 90% of his former ministers.
Il a voulu peut-être honorer ses pairs parce que le moment n'est pas porté pour faire notre gouvernement. Nous n'attendons qu'un seul gouvernement qui tantôt devrait être de l'Union nationale, comme lui il disait, mais qui n'a pas été aussi comme ça devrait, la configuration n'a pas été respectée. Les conseillers en matière de sécurité aberrante avaient fait des consultations d'ici et là pour qu'on puisse former un gouvernement d'union nationale. Mais on est en train de regretter, ce n'était pas un remaniement, c'était des permutations de ministère au ministère. Il y a eu quelques figures qu'on a intégrées juste et qui étaient encore à l'extérieur pour applaudir les chefs de l'État. Tout ça, nous ne sommes pas d'accord pour la population du site Kivu qui est en train de souffrir chaque jour.
In Chad, the former Prime Minister and opposition leader Success Masara has been sentenced to 20 years in prison and fined 1 billion francs after a 3-day hearing in N'Djamena on Sunday. Now, he was found guilty of incitement to hatred and revolt, as well as complicity to murder, following deadly clashes between herders and farmers in the month of May. Sakis Masra, founder of the Transformers Party and former Prime Minister, was placed in provincial detention in the month of May on charges of inciting hatred after clashes that left at least 42 people dead. He also faced accusations of forming and supporting armed groups, complicity in murder, and arson.
En tant que militant, je ne suis pas surprise parce que les gens ont planifié toute l'arrestation avant de venir le prendre. Lui, il ne connaissait pas où se trouve le village Mandakao. Et de deux, moi je suis très fière d'écouter que Masra est condamné aujourd'hui à 20 ans de prison.
Nous, on n'est pas surpris. On n'est pas surpris parce que depuis le début déjà, on pourrait arrêter cette cabale-là. Mais si ça continuait jusqu'à la cour criminelle, on n'était pas surpris de sa condamnation. Mais sauf que c'est fait sans élégance. 20 ans de prison ferme pour quelqu'un qui n'a jamais tué une mouche, moi je trouve qu'ils sont allés trop loin. Et c'est un sentiment de déception. De déception, pas parce qu'on a condamné mon président, mais de déception pour la justice de mon pays. Un grand juge.
Now, some news affecting the global south. The World Court's landmark ruling on the 23rd of July is considered a turning point in efforts to hold wealthy Western countries accountable for the impact of climate change on nations in the global south. The judges warned that these countries to change their ways will risk facing compensation claims from those that are hardest hit. African leaders and climate experts have discussed the implications of this decision, especially following a recent warning from the African Union stating that the continent needs at least $3 trillion to close the current climate finance gap, the significant difference between the funds required to address the climate impacts and the money that is currently available.
I am very pleased with the decision from the ICJ about the legal accountability and responsibility of countries for the impacts of climate change. I have spent almost 30 years of my career, both in the United Nations and now in Africa as energy sector lead for Sierra Leone, advocating for both climate justice and energy justice. I believe this landmark decision begins to lay the foundation for countries like ours that are victims of climate change in Africa.
And over in Gaza, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the killing of 6 Palestinian journalists in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza City. Now, spokesperson for the UN Chief Stefan Dujarric on Monday did give a briefing and called for an independent and impartial investigation into the case.
The Secretary General condemns the killing of the 6 Palestinian journalists in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza City on August 10th. These latest killings highlight the extreme risks that journalists continue to face when covering this ongoing conflict. The Secretary General calls for an independent and impartial investigation into these latest killings. At least 242 journalists have been killed in Gaza since the war began. Journalists and media workers must be respected, they must be protected, and they must be allowed to carry out their work freely, free from fear and free from harassment.
When we take a look at business news after this, we are focusing on the issues of energy. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The chairperson of the Zimbabwe Council for Higher Education, ZIMCHE, Professor M. Rukuni, the Chief Executive Officer, Professor K.P. Jimbo, the ZIMCHE Council, the executive management and staff join His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambodzo Mnangagwa, in the entire nation in commemorating Heroes and Defense Forces Day. On this commemorative occasion, we pay tribute to the gallant sons and daughters of the soil, both living and fallen, whose indomitable spirit, courage, and sacrifices brought about the freedom, peace, and prosperity we hold dear today. We also extend our profound gratitude to the dedicated members of our defense forces for their unwavering commitment to safeguarding our sovereignty, peace, and national integrity. Their selfless dedication creates a secure and stable environment that enables our institutions of higher learning and the country as a whole to thrive in advancing research, innovation, industrialization, and a transformative education based on our heritage and a decolonial epistemic. Inspired by the enduring legacy of our heroes and heroines, the Zimbabwe Council for Higher Education remains steadfast in its mission to cultivate a harmonized, quality-assured higher education system that aligns with Heritage-Based Education 5.0 in driving the industrialization and modernization of Zimbabwe in line with our shared National Vision 2030. As we honor these solemn commemorations, may we recommit ourselves to the values of patriotism, resilience, and service. Let us work together to create a prosperous, empowered, and highly educated population committed to the industrialization of the motherland. Zimbabwe Council for Higher Education, quality assurance in higher education.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
As we commemorate Heroes and Defense Forces Days, we honor the brave men and women whose sacrifice laid the foundation for our nation's freedom, peace, and progress. Their courage and commitment continue to inspire us to build a Zimbabwe that is inclusive, secure, and prosperous for all. At NASA, we recognize the vital role that our fallen and living heroes played in bringing about the dignity and well-being we enjoy and do not take it lightly. We also recognize the role that our defense forces play in safeguarding the dignity and well-being of all Zimbabweans. NASA remains committed to upholding our mandate through the provision of robust social security schemes. We will continue to protect the health and safety of all workers and also provide adequate social security for those who have retired. Let us celebrate this legacy with pride, unity, and a renewed dedication to service. Hashtag NASA Heroes. NASA, a lifelong promise.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Now, Zimbabwe has begun preliminary processes to roll out the energy efficiency policy, which was launched by President Emmerson Mnangagwa in April of this year. This policy aims at reducing energy consumption in industries and homes. Now, Zimbabwe currently spends more than $200 million US yearly in electricity imports. Conservation and Renewable Energy Director in the Energy and Power Development Ministry, Dr. Sosten Zifuku, spoke to ZTN.
The objectives of the energy efficiency policy are essentially to ensure that we reduce energy consumption, that is both electricity and petroleum fuels, in all sectors of the economy. By all sectors of the economy, I mean in the residential sector, in the mining sector, in the manufacturing sector, and so forth. So that is the key objective, to reduce energy consumption, but keeping the same output in terms of production.
Still in business, the Grain Marketing Board is set to complete the construction of the AI-powered silo in Vuri Depot in October. The facility has about 7 grain silos with a capacity of 56,000 tons. Now, speaking during a tour of the facility on Thursday, the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Anxious Masuka, said that the construction of the silos will reduce the challenge of grain storage in Mashonaland Central Province. Dr. Masuka also highlighted that the smart silos will go a long way in promoting food security and ensuring that grain is adequately stored.
With these AI-powered silos that we are building this first phase with 7 sites, we would like to see this additional storage space that will bring in a lot of innovations. It means that here in Mpumalanga, you can now bring in grain direct from the field. There is also modern cleaning equipment that ensures that the grain is clean, but the dryers is 100 metric ton per hour dryer, which is a new addition. We also have here an innovation where these silos are all ventilated and they have AI-powered probes within them. It means that in the past we used to turn the grain every month or so that you don't get state bend and grain upon grain leading to rots and other aspects that would lead to that grain not being suitable for human consumption.
And now we take a look at some entertainment news. Now, yesterday the country celebrated Heroes Day and a celebratory bash was held at Cosmopolitan VIP Club in Blayo. It was nothing short of pure vibes and an unforgettable experience as headline act South Africa's Kelvin Momo and DJ Tees brought their house down with stellar performances. The decks also saw magic from Nisha Dussault, DJ Zandimaz and Cosmopolitan's resident DJs, ensuring that the Heroes Day party lived up to its billing. Here is a snippet of the festivities. The entertainment scene in Blayo was definitely lit yesterday during Heroes Day because motorsport and music fanatics gathered at ZKS Spinners Arena where they were celebrating their national heroes through drifting, spinning, dance and music. The family fun event was lit with a fire combination of music, car spinning, drifting, horse riding and even ostrich viewing. Here is a glimpse of that event. And tonight, all is set for the Joe Thomas concert that is currently happening at the Old Hararian Sports Club. People have come out in their numbers and our crew is at the concert to give us a feel of what the atmosphere and the crowd is like so far.
Good evening, Faith, and thank you so much. We are live today at Old Hararian Sports Club, waiting for a stellar performance from Joe Thomas, man, and really Teach Matthias has already gave us a great performance. We've had Newsplus too, and right now we are waiting for the one and only SQ, and after SQ is going to be the man of the moment. That is Joe Thomas, man, and we are waiting to listen to some great songs like I Believe, No One Comes Close to You, as well as I Want to Know, Not Living Behind, Good Girls, man. Back to you in the studio.
Francisca, thank you very much. Your energy clearly palpable through the screen. Francisca Mcheche, our correspondent, there at the Joe Thomas concert. Now we take a look at some sporting action.
The Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Advocate J.F.N. Mudenda, the President of the Senate, Honorable M.M. Chinomona, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable T. Gezi, the Deputy President of the Senate, Lieutenant General Retired M.R. Nyambuya, members of the Committee on Standing Rules and Orders, members of Parliament, the Clerk of Parliament, Mr. K.M. Chokuda, and staff of Parliament joined the President, His Excellency Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, and the entire nation in commemorating Heroes' Day in remembrance of the fallen and living heroes and heroines of the liberation struggle. Indeed, the Zimbabwe's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity we so cherish today was earned through the priceless blood and supreme sacrifice of thousands of gallant sons and daughters of the soil. This solemn day is a poignant reminder that we have a sacrosanct responsibility to safeguard the legacy of our fearless liberators by promoting peace and unity, conditions precedent for national development. The sacrifices of our heroes and heroines must inspire us to aspire to build a prosperous and empowered upper middle income society in line with the Vision 2030 mantra espoused under the visionary leadership of His Excellency President Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, is intertwined and augmented by the theme for Heroes 2025, Devolve and Develop Together Towards Vision 2030. Instructively, Zimbabwe has witnessed a resurgence of patriotic zeal where ordinary citizens are celebrated for extraordinary contributions to the nation. The National Heroes Day honors and awards stand as a testament to this national recognition, which affirms not just historical legends, but contemporary patriots for their sterling contribution to the national development agenda. That is why the Parliament of Zimbabwe reaffirms its commitment to upholding the ideals for which our heroes and heroines selflessly sacrificed their lives for Zimbabwe to be free and independent. Long live Zimbabwe. Long live our heroes and heroines. Long live our freedom and independence. Parliament of Zimbabwe, a strong, independent, people-driven world-class parliament, an ISO 9001-2015 certified organization. The board, management, and staff of Transmedia Corporation Private Limited proudly join His Excellency President Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa and the nation in commemorating Heroes Day and Defense Forces Day 2025. Today, we honor the brave men and women who have dedicated themselves to safeguarding Zimbabwe's sovereignty and ensuring our safety. At Transmedia, we support Zimbabwe's security and unity by providing reliable broadcasting infrastructure that keeps citizens informed and connected, leaving no one and no place behind. As our digitalization journey progresses, we remain committed to expanding access to information and fostering national pride through innovative solutions. We remember our fallen heroes whose sacrifice secures our future. To the living heroes and defense forces, we salute your unwavering courage and service. With the strength of our nation and the power of communication, we are building a brighter, united Zimbabwe. Let us stand together, honoring our heroes, past and present, and reaffirm our pledge to a peaceful, prosperous Zimbabwe. Transmedia remains committed to ensuring that every Zimbabwean has access to information through radio, television, and other digital platforms in support of the constitutional provision of universal access to information. Masai sai kuvano, amakakasi ebantuine. Long live Zimbabwe.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at some sport, and tonight we start off with some tennis. Zimbabwe lost 3-0 to Senegal in their opening Davis Cup Africa Group 3 tie at Harare Sports Club today. In the singles matches, Courtney Locke fell to a 4-6, 4-6 defeat to Saint Dinas Andre, while Meluhluli Sibanda also went down in straight sets, losing 6-4, 6-4 to Nicola Jadun. Now the Sibandas, Mehluli and Ethan then teamed in the doubles where they lost 6-3, 6-4 to Andre and Jadun. In the day's other tie, top seeds Namibia beat Algeria. The qualifiers are being played in a round-robin format with Namibia, Nigeria and Algeria, the other nations taking part. The top 3 teams will be promoted to World Group 2 playoffs next year. The Zimbabwe Defence Forces delivered a clinical performance to overpower their Zambian counterparts 2-0 in a thrilling encounter at Rufaro Stadium on Tuesday. Sasani Mudimba and Nigel Hunga struck in either half to secure a well-deserved history for the hosts. ZDF coach Weddington Chinyanga was elated with the result, crediting his tactical awareness and prior experience with Chapungu for assembling a cohesive unit. The ZDF team had the bulk of players from Black Rhinos and Chapungu. His Zambian counterpart, Dennis Banda, remained philosophical in defeat, acknowledging the challenges of hastily assembling a squad. Now, still in football, Dynamos
It's not my responsibility alone, but most of the time everything goes down to the coach. But I'm happy with the reception that I've seen from the team. They have accepted me. Most people were not quite sure why I made the decision to come and coach Dynamos when they are second of the bottom. But I'm a man of faith, and I believed and I trusted God. And slowly we are seeing a bit of life. We only hope that we don't get carried away. We focus on the games that are coming. Yeah, I think God does wonders. He qualifies the unqualified. That's what God can do. But from the performance, honestly, from the 3 games that we have played, from the performance that I've seen a lot of quality, a lot of potential, just to give them confidence to believe in themselves that we can do it. If we can beat a team like Simba that has been consistent, I think, most of this season, it shows that we've got the pedigree also to fight.
Dynamos head coach Calvin Kayode believes that the side will avoid relegation, as he has seen a number of positives since he took over the reins at the beginning of the month. The side has registered 3 wins, 2 in the Chibuku Super Cup against Yada and Simbabora, as well as a league game win over Moors, and Kayendu has called on his players not to get carried away, saying that they should focus on the remaining games. Now, Kayendu also believes that their win over Simbabora in the Chibuku Super Cup comes at the right time, as they hope that the cup success will come as a consolation for the club that has been struggling for the greater part of the season.
Yeah, it means a lot. Look at our fans that probably came on the field. It shows that they have been denied this for quite some time. It was excitement. Look at the celebration of our players. Even when we were equalized, I saw one of our players, I think, running across the field. He was almost going out of the field, showing the determination and the way. We haven't been celebrating for quite some time, and I've told them that if we score, let's celebrate our goal. I think it helps a lot, and this is what we are saying. And I only wished and hoped that the last 2 games that were played were in the league game, where we could have probably moved.
Still in football, Scotland FC head coach Tunderai Ndirai is counting on his squad depth as they return to league action after progressing to the last 8 of the Chibuku Super Cup with a 1-0 win over Greenfield at Sakuba on Sunday. Ndirai made 6 changes to the squad at Greenfield, and he says the squad rotation will be key as they fight on 2 fronts during the business end of the season.
We've got some depth in the team. We then had to make about 6 or 7 changes to the starting lineup that played against FC Platinum, and that team got us a result today, which really shows how depth, what depth can do to you, especially at this stage of the season. So yeah, very happy, and hopefully we can then quickly shift our focus to the next game, which is also coming a bit early. We are playing on Friday, so yeah, we really need to plan.
Well, that's all we had for you on Newsplus this Tuesday evening. Tonight we leave you watching action coming from Kujege Growth Point in Weza, where the Defence Forces Gala is taking place, in case you could not make it. Here's to hoping you did enjoy your holidays and you enjoy the rest of your week. My name is Faith Nyaude. Good evening.
Wabatiza impapano wakaenda mawakaenda. Wabatiza impapano